All right, Shalom. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rukak Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles, the bishop elders, the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone for ruling and teaching well, and salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is the brother Gabar Yahweh there with another lesson. Today's lesson is entitled Mamzer. Let me see. Yeah, what is a Mamzer / tears and wheats? Okay, because you hear that term Mamzer thrown around a lot, especially with Jake that know about this truth. You know, you can't just say things and not know why you're saying what you're saying. And also the meaning of words. The apostles and the elders, the bishops, they teach us the meaning of words, to look up the meaning of words. And again, you get a lot of people that use the term Mamzer and they just use it because it's just free to use. Okay, they'll say that, oh, a Mamzer is a Israelite. Well, a child born of a what is it, an Israelite father and a heathen woman. They'll say a Mamzer is a Israelite born of a child born of an Israelite mother and a heathen father. And so we just want to get definitions of that and also show, amongst these other nations, you got tears on high levels. Okay. And what inspired this lesson was two things: this video that I'm about to play in front of you, as well as a video, I think it was Apostle Ramla did a video yesterday speaking, going into Mamzers. He had actually brought up Blake Griffin's son, who looks like an Edomite but is an Israelite. Him and his sister are Levites. They're really so-called Haitians, man. But because their mothers look like their mother looks like a so-called white woman, an Edomite. The children look Edomitish, and Blake Griffin himself, he himself looks a bit Edomitish because of his mother is an Edomite. This is Blake Griffin and his father and mother. This dark-skinned black man, so-called black man, brown-skinned man, he's a Haitian, and this is Blake Griffin's. This is Blake Griffin himself, and then his mother. And he got a lot of his mother's complexion, but he definitely has his dad's features and spirit, and he has that Israelite strength, And in this world that we live in a world that's so-called color-stricken. Color in this world at a certain point in time meant everything. If you were a poor so-called white person in this country, you could always feel proud that you were above the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. If you were a well-to-do Edomite, so-called white person in this country, because of the color of your skin, the color of your skin and your economic status in this country, okay, you were able to be above the poor whites as well as the rest of the heathen, the rest of the people in this country. And so most people, again, they judge on the outside. The Most High, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he judges within, because it's the spirit within that body that matters. Definitely the flesh going back, meaning going back your kindred to the nation of Israel. But you got Israelites that look like everybody now, And so this is Blake Griffin and his mom and his dad, and this is Blake Griffin's children. Blake Griffin's children right here. This is his son. If he would never grew up around black people, so-called black people, if he never had any intermingle with black people, this little dude would be, you would think that he was a white kid. Now he's grown, he's getting a little older now. So he's getting a little light, he looking more light skinned, like a little more Latin. But hey, Ephraim has mixed himself amongst the people. That's why he has that complexion. So this is Blake Griffin's ex-wife. This little dude is his son's little brother. And his son's little brother is an Edomite. His son's little brother His father is this man right here, this Edomite right here, Brian Cameron, Matt Lanier's baby mama has kids with Blake Griffin. Yeah, Matt Lemire. So she's an Edomite woman. They call her a baby mama. And that term don't even fit this devil because in this world, the only people that they claim to be baby mamas is Israelite women. But this guy has a baby with her. She got an Edomite and she got an Israelite came out of her womb, man. You know? Wait, just like Rebecca, you know? And so going back to this guy, Blake Griffin and his kids, his son got blonde hair, brown eyes, that light skin, you know, especially at a time when this country was really colorized, what was going on that so-called racial binge of colorism. Hey, this little dude would have been accepted. You know what I'm saying? Even Blake Griffin might have been accepted in some circles, man. It all depend on how you act. They got a thing called passing in America, where like some Jakes they were born light, really light, or some tear children, a child with an Israelite mother but a Edomite father, and they look more like the Edomite dad. They would pass to get better privileges in the society, and they would basically disown their so-called Negro side. You know, um, so these are examples. I'm trying to give more pictures of Blake Griffin because Blake Griffin has a daughter. He has a daughter too, and she looks like she's an Edomite, and she's gonna grow up with an Edomite mother. She's gonna grow up in an Edomite world. Yeah, this is Blake Griffin's daughter right here. So you can tell the man has an affinity for Edomite women, and that probably comes from the fact that his mother is an Edomite or looks like an Edomite. So this is Blake Griffin's daughter. This is Blake Griffin's son, and this is his brother, the Edomite brother right here. The older one too. Ain't that spiritual? So, but look, he still look a little white, man. You know what I mean? He look a little Edomitish. You know, he looks a little Edomitish. All right, but that's just generation. But at the end of the day, these three are Israelites. These three right here, 1, 2, and 3. These are Israelites right here. These are Edomites. Okay, and in the kingdom of heaven, they're going into captivity, complete captivity, and these kids are going to get their color back. You know, but yeah, you look at this kid. This is even a Rock got a daughter that looked like a white woman. And he got a daughter that looked like a Polynesian too, but she's a Judite. Rock's daughters, the Rock's daughters, right? And then we'll get into it. So this is the Rock's daughter right here. This is oldest daughter right here. She looked more Samoan than anything. Her mother is Puerto Rican though. I think her mother is like Puerto Rican or something like that. But then she got a lot of those Japhetic features, man. You know. And then this is second daughter right here. You know. But you don't realize that hey, all three of them are Judites, man. This is a Judite girl, daughter right here. But you would know that because people don't understand complexity, complexion and complexity. You know. Yeah, this is the mother right here. I think this is her mother right here. I'm not sure if this is kid, but yeah. And as he deals with these different women of other nations, 1, 2, 3 generations, man, it's over, man. And his dad dealt with a Japhetic woman. The Rock's parents, his dad, and we've always done that. We've always looked at women of the other nations, and we wanted to go into them, man. Yeah, it's the Rock, right? Well, that ain't the Rock. That's the show. Um, yeah. Well, this is the Rock right here. This is the Rock when he was a kid. This is his mom. You know, she was a nice looking Samoan woman, man. He got all into the Samoan culture and shit. Yeah, and that's why the Lord told us this Deuteronomy, just the book of Deuteronomy, uh, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1, warnings. It says, when the Lord Yahweh Bashan Shah thy God shall bring thee into a land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahweh thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. we were supposed to do that. We didn't do that. So we got in trouble for that. And these nations became a plague unto us, especially the Philistines, man, and them Canaanites. It says, and utterly destroy them, thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Right. So we're not supposed to make an agreement with these nations, through marriage. And a lot of covenants were sealed through marriage, man. We're gonna get that too. The Hebrew word there for covenant is barayath, and it says a covenant, alliance, a pledge between men, a treaty, a league, an agreement. Okay, so we weren't supposed to make that with these nations. First of all, they are our inferior. Second, they are our enemies. You know, and so us dealing with these nations, you're gonna have what mingling of the cultures, man. And we have as a nation, we have the innate uh, disadvantage in that we soak up these people cultures, but they don't soak up our culture. And so this is what the Lord said: neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter, Salaki. It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons. Okay, for they will. This is the reason why. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh Bashar Shah be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. And this is where we're at today. Now we can deal with these women on a concubinage level, meaning we didn't make a covenant with them. We didn't join. We weren't joining. Where's it at? Salakia. Salakia. Yeah, we weren't joining houses together and making a covenant with them. That's the you can do that. You can deal. That woman will have to fall under your vibration versus you under hers, and she couldn't venerate or worship her idol. She called a god. She couldn't do that with Salakia. Salakia about that. So again, she would have to fall under our vibration. It wasn't a covenant. A covenant wasn't set up with them. That's what we're not supposed to do. And again, what's the reason for that? Is because these dealing with these women, they'll have you following after their guys. I'll give you another example. This dude named Keith Thurman, he's a boxer, and he married an Elamite woman, right? Uh, Keith Thurman, his wedding, right? He got all into that Elamite spirit. You know what I mean? When he married this woman, he made a covenant with this woman and got all into her spirit. You ain't supposed to do that. That red dot, that goes back to her idol worshiping. But he did that because he loved this woman. And that's what happened to King Solomon. You see, he got all East Indian on him. You know what I mean? This dude ain't never lived in East India, man. You know, I think his mother is a white woman too. But his dad's a Jake. But this dude got all into the spirit of Elam by dealing with this woman. Okay. And that's what you have to do. You have to bend the knee to their gods, but they're not bending a knee to yours. These women, they're not bending the knee to Jake's power. Like even this Jake, he married a East Indian woman. They put the whole garb on an Asian and black couple. Say hello to Keith, Bajan, and Venetian Afro, whatever. And these women of the other nations, yeah, they look good, but hey, they shouldn't look good enough where you bow out, man, and you bow to them, man. They supposed to bow to you, you know. So that's an example of that. So going back to this, I want to show this, and this is an example of a tear, because what I showed you before, these pictures of The Rock, Blake Griffin, Blake Griffin, Blake Griffin's children, those are Israelites, man. But a nigga that just woke up to knowing that he's an Israelite, and running with that black only or Latin only Israelite spirit, you would have no idea. You would have no idea. You one of these this little dude where he at? Where he at? Blake Griffin's son. Yeah. If Blake Griffin's son came up to the camp and wanted to hear something and be taught, you probably push him away and call him an Edomite, or a nigga probably try to call him a Mamzer and don't even know the definition of it, man. These are Israelites, 1 and 2. I don't know about this little dude. I think he's an Edomite. I don't know what his dad's background is, but I believe he's an Edomite. But she had sex with two different men, and she got children by 2 different men, man. And she getting all kinds of cake from this situation too. But yeah, he got a daughter with this demon, and he got a son with this demon. And again, this is an Israelite, but to the average person who have no spiritual eye to see or ears to hear, you would think that this was an Edomite baby, and it's not. This is a Levite child. You know, that's a Levite child, man. Okay, this little dude right here, this is a Levite. He got blonde hair, and he gonna grow up in an Edomite family. He gonna grow up in an Edomite world. He's gonna be having Edomite girlfriends. He's gonna have, if he's here long enough, this little dude's gonna have an Edomite woman. He gonna get a woman that's closest to his mother. He ain't gonna bring Kwanika home or Dashiki to the house, man. Dashiki ain't coming, man. He gonna get him a Taylor, a Haley. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna accept it because the pops are wealthy, and then he'll have children, and them kids gonna be looking extra super Edomitish, you know, extra super Edomitish, man. You know, but these are the Israelites, man. And so I want to show you an example of a tear. This is not, she's not the tear, but the son that you're about to see that she had is a tear. So let me play this real quick. I don't know what that is.
So have you heard of Princess Angela of Liechtenstein? Princess Angela is a Panamanian American woman who married a prince.
Yeah, so this woman's a Zebulonite. Panama? Yeah, Zebulon. She's a Zebulonite. She's an Israelite. But she married a Edomite prince. You know?
Of Liechtenstein. Princess Angela is a Panamanian American woman who married a prince from Liechtenstein. His name is Prince Maximilian. She was born in Panama, raised in America. She became a fashion designer, graduating from the Parsons School of Design. She graduated.
Yeah, they say all these good things about you, because if they'd have just said she was just Panamanian, so-called from that area, she would get no credence. So they gotta talk about her accolades. But they don't talk about just Edomite's accolades, man. Her accolades have to define her, you know. But it's cool because you're supposed to marry the best of the women. You don't, if you're a king like King Solomon, he didn't marry just anybody, man. He didn't take any woman, just any woman to be his wife, man. All them women, them 700 wives, the vast majority of them, if they weren't Israelite women, they were princesses from the other nations, man, that he made leagues with through his father, through himself. Those leagues were set up. Those covenants were set up so that he could control the whole area. And then the fathers would marry them too, so they can have peace. That's why you had 40 years of peace under King Solomon, man. So when you're a king, man, when you high up on a high horse, bro, you don't marry down, man. And even though he married this demon, I ain't gonna disrespect it. He married this woman right here, this Israelite woman right here. To the vast majority of the Edomites, this would be marrying down because he didn't marry an Edomite woman. But he got a taste for what he got a taste for. But it don't take away that he's an Edomite.
Liechtenstein.
And any child that comes out of this union is an Edomite. You can't have an Israelite from an Israelite father and I'm sorry, Israel, an Edomite father, Satan, an Edomite father and an Israelite woman. And where do we have an example of that? Where do we? Well, we got an example in the book of Exodus, where with Israelitish, Israelitish. An Egyptian man. This is Leviticus 24 and 10. Leviticus 24 and 10. Yep. Leviticus 24 and 10. It says, and the son of an Israelitish woman whose father was an Egyptian, so that made that dude a heathen, went out among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in a camp. So they got in a fight, right? This heathen that was amongst our people. Because our women was dealing with Israel Egyptian men, just like know that Jake was dealing with Egyptian women. Look at Moses. He had the Ethiopian wife. Then you had Joseph. He had the Egyptian wife, and they had all of them had Israelite sons. Man, Manasseh and Ephraim came from who? Out of a Egyptian woman. Well, they came out of an Israelite man's loins, but they came through an Egyptian woman. Man. So it says, and the son of the Israelitish woman, this is the NLT, one day a man who had an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father, okay, came out of his tent and got into a fight with one of the Israelite men, okay? And it says, and the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shilomith, the daughter of Debri, the tribe of Dan. All right. So this dude didn't have any reverence or fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He blasphemed the Lord's name. It says, during the fight, this son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai with a curse. So it says, so the man was brought to Moses for judgment. His mother was Shelomith, the daughter of Debri, the tribe of Dan. So she was a Danite, but the boy or the man, the Israelite, the son, he was an Egyptian. He wasn't or Montezarian Mike. He wasn't an Israelite. He was another tribe of Dan. But he came out with his mom, and I'm not sure if his dad came, but he came out with his mother when Egypt, I mean when Egypt, when we were fleeing Egypt, man. Obviously, that's her son. So when we were leaving, she was probably telling this dude, like, hey, come on, let's go. He didn't think about, oh, I'm gonna stay here with my mom, I'm my dad, or I'm gonna stay here with my people. No, he went with his mother. But the Lord aired that nigga the fuck out, got him up out the way, just like he did the rest of the mixed multitude, those other nations that followed us out of Egypt too, after they seen the power of the Lord. And they put him in ward that the mind of Yahweh might be showed. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let the congregation stone him, man. And thou shalt speak unto the children, the sons of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his power shall bear his sin. So whoever cursed the Lord, you're going to be put to death. You're going to be put to death. You're going to get put out of here, man. And that was to show strike fear. So the Lord used a heathen that looked like an Israelite to do what? To make a point that you don't curse Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And that word for curse, it ain't MF, which you won't do that either, but it ain't MF. No, that word for curse, um, that word for curse is qualal, and it says to be slight, to be swift, trifling, lighter, to take little account. So to treat the Lord name with no account, you know, to make despicable, to be cursed, to treat with contempt. So this dude treated the Lord's name with contempt, and the Lord heard it and saw it, and He put it on His spirit to do it, so He can make a point. You don't do that, and whoever does that, you're going to get put to death. And that's what happened to this heathen. That's another thing. These heathens don't respect our God. These heathens don't respect Yahweh Shalom Shah. You know when they're going to respect the Lord? When He bring His wrath upon them. You know? But you see this shit all the time. You got Jakes on a low level, Jake women on a low level marrying these heathens. It ain't just Edomites. They marrying Gooks, Moabites, Ammonites, all of that. You got a lot of tares amongst our people, man. Shit, you got Israelites that look,
Princess Angela.
You got Edomites that look like straight up Jakes, man. Hey, that dude, Bill Clinton's so-called illegitimate son. That dude, he live in a hood. You know what I'm saying? How many more terrorists are amongst us in a ghetto, man? You know? Type in Bill Clinton's son. Danny Lee Williams Jr., born in 1985, is a man from Little Rock, Arkansas, who claims to be the biological son of Bill Clinton. And the former president of the United States, blood test ruled out Clinton as the father, which that could all be a lie. It could be what you call it? They just set that up. You know, they can make a test say anything. You know what I'm saying? But this the nigga, it's the nigga Bill Clinton's son right here. Said his mother had sex with his mother was a prostitute, and she had sex with Bill Clinton when he was a governor in 1985 of Arkansas. And the nigga looked just like him. He looked just like his father, you know, and he's fighting to be recognized. Nigga, you an Edomite. But check out, he got kids. He got kids. Danny Williams got kids that look like nigga women, man. Danny Williams Clinton. Daughters. He got a lot of kids. He grew up in a hood. So he didn't grow up in a White House, you know, next to his sister. You know what I'm saying? He ain't grew up in there next to Clinton drinking blood and eating people, man, eating kids. This nigga got, where is that? He got kids. I know he got kids. Danny Williams. We've been trying to get recognized for a long time, man. My quest to find Bill Clinton's love child. He looked just like this nigga when he was a kid, man. Except he looked like a Jake. And he looked like a Jake, but this dude's an Edomite, man. Yeah, this is kids right here. This is kids. These are Edomites. These are his children. These are Bill Clinton's grandchildren, man. Edomites, man. They look like niggas, but they Edomites, man. He looked just like this man. I am the son of Bill Clinton. Yeah, well, nigga, that ain't nothing to be proud of, bro. But you grew up in the hood. He done got locked up, spent time in jail, grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And then you would mistake this dude like ISUPK or IUIC, this nigga walking down the street, hey, brother, are you an Israelite? But you ain't even try this man's spirit. You don't know where this nigga from, where he come from. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. That's why the scripture said try his spirit. So you think that this dude is a Jake, but this dude ain't no Jake, man. He's an Edomite, man. And his mother wasn't having no half nigga kid in their house, man. Just like the slave masters and during slavery, man. Them slave mistresses, when the master went out and had sex with the slave woman and got her knocked up, she would kill a child, man. She would cut the child's head off. She would cast the child away, get rid of the mother. She would do all of these things, man. Right? And the same thing they did to this nigga, man. They left that nigga in the ghetto with his prostitute mother, man. Because there's no respect in that in this world. But again, this nigga Danny Williams, he got kids, bro. And this nigga kids, if I can find it again, and he holding pictures of his dad and shit and his mother. And they just trying to get a check. They just trying to get paid, you know. But hey, man, these are Edomites, and they gonna grow up in the ghetto. Quatniqua, Tashina, Takiera, they gonna grow up in the ghetto amongst Jake, man. And then you wonder why that friction is there, because you got Edomites running around, man. Gotta get them out of there, man. But the Lord's gonna do it, man. This is so let's go back to this video real quick, man.
Angela of Liechtenstein. Princess Angela is a Panamanian American woman who married a prince from Liechtenstein. His name is Prince Maximilian. She was born in Panama, raised in America. She became a fashion designer, graduating from the Parsons School of Design. When she graduated from Parsons School of Design, she received the Golden Thimble Award from Oscar de la Renta. And she met her fiance in the 90s at a party in New York City. They got engaged, they got married, they have a son, Prince Alphonse.
This is an Edomite. This little nigga is an Edomite. Prince Alpha, whatever. He's an Edomite, and she's happy. This is the true class. This is the true hypergamy right here, man. Look, at is it hypergamy or hypergamy? When you marrying up, this is an example. This is a good example of that, man. Because this man is not no Jake. He is not no Israelite. He is not no Israelite, man. And this little nigga grew up. He's a whole fucking tear. Any child that came from this is a true mamzer, a bastard from an illicit relationship. You know, this little nigga right here, man. And this is the nigga right here. He a little browner. It's an older picture of the nigga, Prince Alfonso. You know, and look, he don't even be around Jake, man. They grew up around what? Other Edomite royalty, man. You know, blocking their faces out because they don't want you to see them. Hey, but you would think that this nigga is a Jake. You accept this nigga. You accept this dude, but he's a whole Edomite. And these devils, they want to get a piece of this nigga because he's a prince. They think that he's stroking them hoes left and right. Hey, look, you see how they close these people's faces out, man? Because they don't want you to see them, man. Yes to Amelia being into a German. Yes to Amelia being into German boys, pushing my Amelia and Alphonse of Liechtenstein agenda. He's kind of German, right? Laughing my ass off. Mean he speaks German and grew up in Germany. No, this nigga he's an Edomite, man. From German royalty, man. He's an Edomite. You know, but he gonna catch that hell because he looks like a Jake, man. But this little nigga, just like little Herod right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Herod the Great. This nigga is a terror, man. This is a terror, man. This is not an Israelite, man. Hey, this is St. Matthew chapter 13, verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which is sown in his heart. This is he which received the seed by the wayside. Let me see. Hold on. Salakia, that was my fault. St. Matthew 13 and 24. Tares amongst wheat. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while the men slept, and when we slept, is that captivity, the different captivities, especially this transatlantic slave trade. And while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And that's right. Esau would sow his seed amongst Israelite women, amongst our people, and he would go his way. He wouldn't care about them kids. He wouldn't say, yeah, you're an Edomite, son. Let me raise you up in an Edomitish way. Nah. He would treat the little nigga like a slave. They put him in the fields. They sold him off. They might have gave him his freedom when he turned 21. You know, but that little devil had to catch hell. But it says, but when the blades are sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also, right? And that fruit is the elect of Israel, man. And that's why you're going to have a lot of Jakes, Israelites coming out of all these different nations, looking like these other nations, just like you got to have a lot of these other nations looking like Israelites, man. So that's like wheat and tare. When you look at a tare and wheat in comparison, they look the same. They look the same, right? Here it is right here. This is a good example. It says, before it is fully ripe, and when it's fully ripe, it's tan, right? And tares, lonium, timutium, they look the same, man, until the harvest comes, right? Tares, these are tares, and this is wheat. So they look the same, but they're not the same. One will choke out the other. You see, even when they dry out, they kind of look the same. And you would think that you'll grab a whole bunch of these and think, oh, I got a bunch of wheat, and you don't realize you got tares, man. You know, let's go back to this. It says, but when a blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, Didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence have it from whence then have it tares? And he said unto them, an enemy have done this. The servants said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. That's why you can't go out here trying to chop down everybody you think is a Edomite. You can't accept everybody that you think is a Jake, because you fuck around be accepting a whole bunch of heathens, and then you might be also destroying a whole bunch of Israelites, man. And you don't have that ability to to tell which is what. That spirit come from Yahweh Shem Shai, and the angels gonna take care of that. We don't need to take care of that. It's the spirit within us. That's why the scripture says the spirit within us bear witness that we are the sons of the living power. So if an Israelite looks like one of the other nations, but their spirit is aching unto the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, meaning they believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, they believe in that word, the word, his message, they gotta be Israelites, man. And you gotta accept them. You gotta accept them. And if they tears and they snuck in, hey, the Lord will get rid of them. You ain't got to worry about that. Scripture says what? They're going to take care of it. He's going to take care of it. He says, but he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together unto the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. And it, on a deeper level, the wheat are the elect of Israel. How about that? 2/3, you're like spiritual tares. You look like Israelites. You are Israelites, but you're not the Israelites of the Most High. So you're gonna be gathered and tossed into the fire too, right along with them heat, the natural tares from our people. So it says, verse 36. Then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude. Then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth good seed is the son of is the son of man. That's Yahweh Shai. The field is the world. That's right. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. And who are the children of the kingdom? The elect of Israel. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. Okay, which are Esau, Edom, even those that are cast off, man, they're tares too. But the seed of the wicked one are the tares are the children of the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. That's right. And the reapers are the angels. And as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so it shall be in the end of this world. Because no heathen is sneaking up onto the chariot. You ain't gonna see Lamech in the back eating a bat, creeping from the back, looking all weird and shit, like they showed in that movie Noah. Nah, you ain't gonna see nothing like that, man. Don't. That's what make Yahweh Shem Shai so worthy to be praised, man. And it shows you just a small smidget of his might, that of his ingenuity in his creation. That he got chariots, and the only ones that can get in the chariots are Israelites. Nobody else. And then you're gonna have a new body to get up in there. You can't look like this. You can't be like this and get into the chariots. You ain't gonna have no Edomite driving a chariot and shit. No, that's not gonna happen. Because the kingdom is for Israel. It's not for these other nations, man. Just like the kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites. It's not for nobody else. That's why the Lord also said this. Let me get this. I ain't bring this out. Let me get this real quick. Um, this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. 1 Samuel 16 and 7. Book of 1 Samuel 16 and 7, it says, and it came to pass, I'll start at 6. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely Yahweh Bashem Shai anointed is before him. But Yahweh said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or or on the height or his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh Bashim Yahushai seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on an outward appearance, but the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai looketh on a heart, the spirit, man. And this is going back into Yahweh Bashim Yahushai choosing David, King David, who wasn't big, he wasn't strong, muscular, his stature wasn't like that. He was a young man, he was a kid. But the Lord knew that man's heart, and he knew what that man was going to grow up to be, because he made him to be that. And that's what Esau doesn't do. Esau looks on the outside of a person and he say, "Oh, you're a nigga. You got to drop a nigga blood. You're a nigga." And I'm sure this dude had to grow up catching racism too, even though he's an Edomite. He don't know that. I'm sure that people talk shit behind him and his back. They make jokes and shit. You know, this little nigga, this little Edomite had to grow up around other Edomites looking like a Jake, man, looking like a Israelite. But he was a whole terror his whole life, man. And this nigga ain't under the curses, man. His mother, I don't know. Hey, she could be a terror too. You never know. About several generations back, you never know. You know, but what I do know is that Edom always had an eye for Jake women, man. Just like we got an eye for the heathen women, man. You know, but this is not going to be in the kingdom of heaven. It ain't going to be no Israelite women dealing with no heathen man, especially Esau, Edom. You gonna want to get away from this nigga. These two little niggas right here, they going into hardcore captivity, man. He lived a life of luxury on this side. Because why? Because he's an Edomite. He lived a life of pure acceptance and indulgence, man. Why? Because he's an Edomite. And the super elite know this. The super elite know this. They look at this. They don't see like the regular people look at this little nigga like, oh, he's a nigga. No, they know for a fact he came out of this nigga nutsack. Oh, this is an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? And they use people like this too to put them into the Israelite population to guide you to worship Esau, man. All right. So I typed in, what is a mamzer? All right. It says Jewish children born from forbidden sexual relations pose ethical and communal challenges. Okay. Um, all right. It says a mamzer, plural, mamzerium, is a child born of a forbidden sexual union. Although commonly translated as bastard, the term is defined in rabbinic literature as a child born of incest or adultery. Children, traditional Jewish law prohibits a mamzer from marrying into the Jewish community, which the Lord ain't dealing with no Jewish community. He's dealing with the Israelites. But we did have a law on that. And I'm gonna go back to where was that? Deuteronomy 23:3, because that's where they get this term mamzer from. It says Jewish community, a restriction that poses a significant ethical quandary, since the mamzer is effectively punished for a crime they didn't commit. Both the reform and conservative movements have dispensed with the problem, but it remains an issue in an Orthodox world. The source of mamzer prohibition prohibition, Salakia, is biblical. Deuteronomy 23:3 states that the following: no one misbegotten shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. Now, when you look at Deuteronomy 23:3, it don't say that. It says this. This is Deuteronomy 23:3. This talking about Ammon and Moab, because Ammon and Moab came out of an incestuous relationship. Lot's daughters got him drunk twice, and they laid with him. And then what came out of that situation was the Ammonites and the Moabites, man. So let's read. A person excluded from the assembly. He that is wounded in the stones, Deuteronomy 23:1. He that is wounded in the stones or have a privy members cut off shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. So this is what they were referring to, but they put Deuteronomy 23:3. That word for bastard is mamzar, mamzar, or mamzar, and it says a bastard child of incest, illegitimate child, mixed population, figuratively born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, or vice versa. This is wrong because if you're an Israelite father, if you're an Israelite man, and you got a heathen woman, you can have that child as an Israelite, bro. That child ain't no that. Why? Because we go off our paternal. That's something you about to learn too in this lesson. We start out with the apostles, the elders, the brothers on down. We go off the maternal, the paternal side, and Esau and their Orthodox, they go off the maternal side. They're going off. So if you born of a if you got a Israelite father and a heathen mother, you're still an Israelite. Where can we find an example for that? Where can we find an example that if you got an Israelite father and a heathen mother, you're still an Israelite? Well, here we go. This is the book of First Kings, chapter 14, verse 21. And Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, we know that Solomon was a Judite. His father is David, who was a Judite. Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, reigned in Judah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahweh Bashem Shai did choose out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess. Now, why wasn't he considered a mamzer? He was a king of Israel, bro. He's in the book of Chronicles, bro. What are you talking about? So when you look at the word Ammonitis, his mother was a heathen. He wasn't. It says an Ammonitis, a woman of Ammon. So she was an Ammonitis. She was a woman of Ammon. She was an Ammonite. Ammonite. See Ammon by tribal descendant of Ammon and inhabitants of Ammon, man. So these, J Brews, they're going off, man. Completely off, man. Because they don't understand the scriptures, man. That's why they hold fast to that dirty book called the Talmud. All right. So it says, born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, or vice versa. No, if you born of a heathen mother, if you born of a heathen mother, you are born of a Jewish father, an Israelite father, and a heathen mother, you're an Israelite. Because we go off our father's lineage. Yeah, the brother had put it up. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up. The brother put this up. Numbers 1 and 18. The water brother. Yeah, and the brother's GMS watchman of Yahushai. And Ruth, she was a Moabite. I think she's a Moabite. She was a heathen too. Numbers 1 and 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, man, according to the numbers of the names from 20 years old upwards by their poles, man. You see? So we always went off our father's lineage. When you look at Yahushua, look at his genealogy, man. They talk about his father's lineage, man. From Joseph all the way back to Adam, man. You know what I'm saying? Back up to King David, King David's father, Josie. You see? They ain't mention his mother. We know who his mom was Bathsheba, but they don't talk about her lineage because it don't matter. It don't matter what your mother is. It's all about what your father is, man. Your mom can be any woman from under the sun. Like King Masha used to say, man. I didn't meet him in person, but I've heard this, from the apostles, man, that King Masha said, hey, look, man, we don't need the Israelite woman to bring our people back. We can bring our people back through the heathen woman, man. And they're gonna be all right, man. They'll be all right, man. See, the women in this world, they overstate or overestimate their importance, man. You got your role to play, yes. But are you a key factor in this whole thing? No. The key factor is the Israelite men. The key factor is the Israelite men. Why? Because we hold our nations and our entire nation in our nutsack. Yeah, the brother also put this up too. Romans 1 and 3. It says Romans 1 and 3 concerning his son, Yahushua Mashiach, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David, according to the flesh. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Woman worship. That shit goes back to woman worship. And it says the brother, salvation of the elect. Shalom to all you Akim on here too, brother. Shout out out there watching and listen. Khan Ephraim and Manasseh, the mother was Egyptian. That's right. So these are principal sons. They're part of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. You read Revelation 7, they got a part in that, man. So come on. So you're trying to tell me that we all Mamzers then, according to Jewish orthodoxy. You see? You see how it don't make no sense? So let's keep on going. What was I at? So it says right here, it says, no one misbegotten shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. None of his descendants, even in the 10th generation, shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. Now, who was that talking about? That was talking about the Ammonites, man. That had nothing to do with an Israelite man having a child by a heathen woman. Nothing to do with that. Verse 3 has nothing to do with that. It's talking about the Moabites and why, and the Ammonites and why, because they're incestuous, man. But not just because of that. This is the reason why the Lord said that as well. This is a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. And remember, that's an incestuous relationship. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord Yahweh forever, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor, Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee, man. And we all know the story of Balaam and Balak, man. You know, where he tried to curse Jake. So because of that, this is the reason why. And this is prophesied by Moses, man. In Deuteronomy 23, this is before it was even written. This the whole thing about Balaam and Balak was written well after this, man. Nevertheless, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shah, that God would not hearken unto Balaam, but Yahweh thy God turned the curse into the blessing unto thee, because Yahweh thy power loved thee. That's right, man. So this got nothing to do with a mamzer. You see, so when you go to a mamzer, this is from the Wikipedia. In the Hebrew Bible, in the Jewish religious law, mamzer, a strange person, is a person who is born as a result of a certain forbidden relationships uh, or incest, as it is defined by the Bible, or the descendants of such persons. Mamzer status is not synonymous with traditional Western definition of illegitimacy. In traditional Western common law, the status of a child born to parents who are legally married to each other, of a child conceived before the parents obtain legal divorce. Conversely, illegitimacy, also known as bastardy, has been the status of a child born outside of marriage. So this is two different things. Since it does not include children whose mothers were unmarried when they were born. Etymology. Some have explained the word mamzer as a masculine noun for derived from the root mzr, having meaning of spoil or corrupt. According to Strong's Concordance, from an unused root meaning to alienate, a mongrel, i.e., born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother. And this is off. This is a lie right here. That's a lie. This is a lie right here. The Talmud explains the term homiletically as consisting of words mum and zar, a euphemism for illicit union in a person's lineage. In the Hebrew Bible, the term occurs twice in the Hebrew Bible. Deuteronomy 23 and 3, and we just read that. Deuteronomy 22 and 2 in non-Hebrew versions. And translates the term mamzer, the son of a prostitute, which that ain't right either, because guess what? Was it Hosea that had two kids by a prostitute? The Lord told him to call him Lo and me, for I will not be his God, and he shall not be my people. You know. So, but those are the Israelites. Them kids are still Jakes. In Latin, the Vulgate translates to discorto natus, born of a prostitute. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to the 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. It says halakhic definition. The Talmud, the term mamzer is applied to the descendants of specific illicit unions. According to the Mishnah, Mamzer is the offering of a biblically forbidden union for which his his progenitors are liable to extirpation, which is a form of punishment or sin mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, later Jewish writings. Kareth is, in its simplistic meaning, refers to an individual being expelled from the nation of Israel, which you're not expelled from the nation of Israel if your father is an Israelite and your mother is a heathen. You're going off, man. An exception to this rule is when Jewish man cohabitates with a menstruant woman. This is disgusting. Although he is liable thereby to extirpation, the child born from such a union is not a mamzer. So you telling me that a dude having sex with his wife while she's on her period and she gets knocked up, that's disgusting, man. You ain't supposed to do that. That's against the law. The practical bearing of the ruling is that it excludes from such defamation of a child born outside of wedlock, in which child is often wrongly called a bastard. Uncommon and under common law, according to the Shuklink Arut, a mamzer can only be produced by a mamzer. Listen to this: a mamzer under this shit, a mamzer can only be produced by two Jews. That don't make no sense. How can a mamzer be? You an Israelite, man, from the father. There are two categories of mamzerim. A child born of incest, defined by the Bible, is a mamzer. Note, however, that an incestuous relationship between one or two non-Jews cannot produce mamzers. What? This is in the Talmud. Remember that. If a product of such a union were to convert, he or she would be equal equal of any Jew. That don't make no sense. That's going off, man. That's going off, man. It says the biblical rule against certain people becoming part of the congregation of the Lord was interpreted in the Talmud as prohibition against ordinary Jews marrying such people. Although a biblical passage includes this up to the 10th generation of the descendants of Mamzer, classical rabbis interpreted this as the idiom meaning forever. Thus, in traditional Jewish law, a Mamzer and his or her descendants are not allowed to marry an ordinary non-Mamzer Jewish spouse. And it's all bullshit, man. These people don't understand anything. So I also looked this up too. I read this, I read that. This is I looked this up in Orthodox Judaism. Why do Jewish people recognize the mother as a Jew and not the father? Right? And it says Orthodox Judaism practices matrilineal descent and considers it self-evident, which that's off. Because how many daughters did Jacob have? One, Dinah. And you don't hear nothing about her. We don't even know when she died because she wasn't of any significance outside of just being an Israelite, born of Jacob. She don't get her own tribe. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it says Orthodox Judaism holds that anyone with a Jewish mother also has irrevocable Jewish status. That even were such Jews to convert to another religion, that person would still be considered Jewish by law. You see? So they go off the matrilineal line like the rest of these heathens. We the only ones that go through the patriarch line, man, because that's where it counts. You can have a child with anybody, man. That's a Jake. They're gonna be under them curses. They're gonna be catching hell. They're gonna be open for salvation. They're gonna be open for repentance. You know what I'm saying? Because they Jakes. Orthodox Judaism practices maternal descent considers itself evident. Judaism holds that anyone with Jewish mother also has irrevocable Jewish status. That even were such the Jew to convert to another religion, that person would still be considered Jewish by law. The conservative movement also practices maternal descent. In 1986, the conservative movement of Rabbinical Assembly reiterated the commitment of the conservative movement to the practice of matrilineal descent. Furthermore, the movement stated that any rabbi who accepts the principle or patrilineal descent will be subject to expulsion. You see why? Because when you go off the father's line, that's the pure line, man. But they got this shit from the whole Herodian dynasty and him and Herod marrying into the Hasmonean dynasty, which his wife was Miriam was an Israelite woman. All right, and Herod put her to death along with his bastard his children, them Edomite kids he had with her. He put them to death, man, and he took over power. And it was no more Hasmonean anything. It was Herod from here on there on out, man. It says it says still the conservative movement affirmed that sincere Jews by choice should be warmly welcomed into the community and that sensitivity should be shown to Jews who have intermarried and their families. Conservative movement actively reaches out to intermarried families by offering them opportunities for Jewish growth and enrichment. You see? And they do this shit. It says Karaite Judaism does not accept Jewish oral law as definitive, believing that all divine commandments were recorded with their plain meaning in a written Torah, which is true. As such, they interpret the Hebrew Bible to indicate that Jewishness can only follow paternal descent, which is true. That's absolutely true. The majority of view of the Karaite Judaism is that Jewish identity can only be transmitted by patrilineal descent. Exactly, that's the truth. They argue that only patrilineal descent can transmit Jewish identity on the grounds that all the descendants of the Torah went according to the male line. Only someone who is paternally Jewish, someone whose father was Jewish, is regarded as a Jew. You know, so yeah, like this woman right here, Jamie Lee Curtis. She's an Amalekite. Okay, this demon right here. She come talking about Kanye West and all this other shit. She's a whole fucking demon. But this woman, her name ain't even her real name ain't Curtis, man. That was changed by her father. This is the Amalekite. Her father is Tony Curtis, right? This dude right here. And this nigga, he was born Bernard Schwartz. It says, it says right here, Tony Curtis born Bernard Schwartz in 1925 because these Jews, so-called Jews, like to change their names. Uh, was the first of three boys born to Helen and Emanuel Schwartz. His parents were Hungarian Jewish immigrants from Hungary. His father was born blah 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 blah. So that's the point right there. Just she's a Amalekite, right? And she's accepted as an Amalekite too because of her mother's line. But that's not how this works. It worked on your father's line. You know what I'm saying? It works on your father's line. They don't even try to act like the people of the Bible. He's right, brother. They don't try to act like the people of the Bible because they don't have no spirit of the people of the Bible. They don't have it, man. You know, they don't got the spirit. You know, they got the spirit of an Edomite. They got the spirit of an Edomite, man. So yeah, I guess I just made the point on that, Salaki. I made the point on that, man. I hope you were edified. I hope you understand the difference between a mamzer, what a mamzer truly is, which is what a person from an incestuous relationship. Mainly, that's what a mamzer is. Okay, it has nothing to do with an Israelite man dealing with a heathen woman. You're not a mamzer like that. Because if that's the case, you would have to explain the kings of Israel, man. Okay, you would have to explain the child that was born from Boaz and Ruth, which I think was Josie, who was um, which which was I'm sorry, was Obed, which was Obed Salakia. Yeah, Obed, which he was the forefather of Josie. Uh, okay, Obed, his son was Jesse. I said Josie, Jesse. So Obed, he looked like a half Goot and Jake, half Jake, half Goot. You know how they look, them Blasian kids. Then he had Jesse. Then Jesse had what? David, man. You know, and David had who? Solomon. Okay, so yeah, man, you can't do that. That's not the way this thing works, man. So again, a mamzer is not a person whose father is an Israelite and his mother is a heathen. You going off and you say some shit like that. Okay, then we also talked about the matrilineal line. Where did they get that from? And that's some shit that Esau worked with because these other heathens work with the same type of spirit. So again, I hope you were edified. With that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kadash. It's a double honor to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching his word and truth is sincere and and well. And salutations to our fellow Ak and keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Hey, shalom.